I would like to say a couple of words about Jean-Francois Cousin before I hand it over to him. So, as many of you might know, he is a sought-after keynote speaker, recognized for the empowering inspiration and practical tips he offers during all of his sessions. He mentors coaches seeking to enrich their mastery, and he's a global and executive team coach who has served over 1,700 leaders and dozens of executive teams, visiting 35 countries on 6 continents to partner with them. He passionately helps the coaching profession grow and contribute more to humanity. And he has also served as chairman of ICF Global Board in 2019. And as a fun fact, he shared this with me. This is the 6th year in a row that he is with us at the summit. And since he's located in Asia, the connection is that 6 means success in Chinese. And like you said, Jean-Francois, your wish is that this webinar helps people in this webinar to be successful in a way that makes them happy. What a nice wish. Jean-Francois, thanks for being with us. I hand it over to you.
Thank you very much, Dominique. A pleasure to be with you. Thank you, everyone, for joining, particularly those in Pacific, where it's very late, and those of you on the West Coast in the US and Canada, where it's really early. Thanks for making a 2-hour session. Last year, we discussed how to coach like Einstein would, and that was about partnering with clients' energy. This year, in a way, we raise the bar, and we're going to discuss how to incorporate artistic touches in our coaching. And the game is all about unleashing clients' greatness. In fact, so we're going to have a demo as every year, right? And I'll share some insights and some tips. And I've kind of displayed them on some slides. So you can take a screenshot if you see something you like and you want to remember. And then with that screenshot on your phone, well, you can come back to them. And I've put together some tips and insights for junior coaches, for another slide for advanced coaches, and another slide for master coaches. That will be after the demo. Just before the demo, I'd like to introduce the topic and why it matters. And in other words, why coaching artistically is not a luxury, but an imperative. Of course, it's not about because earth without art is just air, but it's got to do with the fact that our world is changing, and we hear every day, all of us, about bad news with climates and conflicts and cyber insecurity, societal polarization and supply disruption, generative AI, and breaches of ethical boundaries and more. And that's not all. The outlook for the short term, according to the World Economic Forum, is not good. As you can see, plenty of risks, and the outlook for the medium term is actually worse. So my question to all of you is, in that changing world, how are your clients' well-being and creativity changing? And so we're going to invite you right away to participate and take a poll. In fact, so there the poll is. Thanks, Dominique and Lynn, for this. The poll is inviting you to rate from 1 to very much lower to 5, very much higher, how your clients' well-being or creativity compare as to 4 years ago. So if today your clients' well-being is very much higher than it was 4 years ago, then you rate 5. If today your clients' well-being is very much lower than it was 4 years ago, then you rate 1, right? So 1 is today's bad, 5 is today's is much better than 4 years ago for well-being and for creativity. And thanks for sharing. Oh my God, I'm seeing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of you. Whoa, more than, oh my God, wow. K. Wow. Thanks everyone for playing the game. We are off to a good start, and I'm seeing clients' well-being, and Dominique and Lynn Will you show creativity just after that? I think we have, yeah, here we go for creativity. Again, 1 very much lower. Today, really bad as compared to 4 years ago. 5 is today's superb as compared to 4 years ago, right? 1 is bad, bad news, right? And 5 is super good news. All right. Hey, and let's give it a few more seconds. I can see well over 1,000 answers now taken for creativity and even more for well-being. Okay. All right. So thanks a lot, Dominique. Lynn, can we see the results? Or I've memorized them, so it's okay, right? If we can't see them, okay. I'll go to well-being, right? First. All right. So the big picture here, can you see on my screen, or should I share a result, Dominique? The 50%, to put it simple, have said that the well-being of your clients today is significantly lower than 4 years ago. Only 3% have stated that the well-being of your clients today is very much higher. That's for well-being. And then for creativity, we have quite the spread here. There is probably, yeah, it's a balance, right? It's similar or significantly lower, or, yeah, higher, right? So it's a mixed bag, in fact, right? And thanks very much again, everyone, for playing the game. This is really important that we have this in mind when we coach our client. I have to tell you, and I'll come back to that a bit later, that at the end of 2023, like November last year, right? I saw my clients, all of my clients, executives, right? Totally depleted, like exhausted, right? I thought I had seen them exhausted, depleted at the end of the first COVID year, but little did I know. No, last year was way worse. And then kind of automatically, I went into inquiring in depth about their health, their well-being, right? And I could see it was sacrificed. We'll come back to that. But this is part of why I think the time has come now to really redefine, or at least adjust the definition of coaching. In other words, an update of coach's job description is needed. And given the state of the world and the shape of our clients, it's got to evolve in a way that is fit for sustainability in a complex, unsafe, and disrupted world. It's got also to enable our clients to reinvent a part of their being and their doing to address the new complexities and the new game filled with uncertainty that they've got to play, in fact. And then we better make sure as well that we expand the description of our job in a way that's not reachable by generative AI. And with that in mind, I've got a proposal to discuss with you. More than 25 years ago, our beloved ICF defined coaching, as you very well know, right, as a partnership, right? And partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. The process of coaching often unlocks previously untapped sources of imagination, productivity, and leadership. Now, I'd love to suggest that perhaps we can evolve the wording here and perhaps talk about coaching as a partnering with a client in a thought-provoking and creative process that enables them, not just inspires them, to first restore or sustain their well-being, stamina, and mindfulness, and then empower them to generate the new ways of thinking and of being they need to thrive across disruption. Now, to the process part of the definition of the ICF, here I'd just like to shift two words. The process of coaching must unlock untapped or numbed sources of reinvention and leadership. Okay, and so just to make this very practical, I'd love to offer 3 practical steps that we can all take, and I've experienced them, and I've been so far very happy with the results. The first step is each and every time we have a session, right? Invest time to explore how the clients are restoring and sustaining their well-being, their stamina, yeah, and their mindfulness. And that, as I mentioned, I do now every single session, and it's like 60 or 70 people I coach at any time, and I do that so a lot every week, right? I go into how well they sleep, how they exercise, cardio and core strength, and how they eat, basically, right? And I'm very inspired by a book I read last year that's called Outlive, The Science of Longevity by a medical doctor called Peter Attia. Yeah, and that takes time. Sometimes it takes 30 minutes, but there is just nothing more important than ensuring the well-being, stamina, and mindfulness of our clients. The rest can wait just a bit, right? So, and then we go for the rest. And of course, we've got to ensure that the client is coachable here and now. It's a one-on-one of coaching, of course, right? But it's made more difficult by the disrupted environment that our client suffer, right? 2 years ago, I talked about setting up successful sessions for success. You can find that in the archives of coaching.com. It speaks to making people coachable, right? And last year as well, about energy, I delved into this. Just a quick reminder. It's really cool to ask before we start, is there anything you need to become fully present to our conversation? And is there anything else weighing on your mind that you need to let go for now to stay mindful all along our session? Yeah. And eventually, if you feel that your clients are still somewhat anxious after that, just invite them to take a few deep breaths, right? And then they'll be coachable, and then the good work can start. And then step 3 is the game-changing one, in fact, right? It's all about awakening clients' inner artists to reinvent who they are and what they do for sustainability and to thrive in our disrupted world, yeah? And that echoes what I proposed earlier on about generating new ways of thinking and of being to thrive across disruption, yeah? And here, I want to make a few observations, and in particular, that we really need to awaken in our clients a great breadth and depths of new perspectives. We also need to awaken in them the energy and the wisdom of their emotions and of their gut feelings for forward movement and disruptive creativity and originality. And that is really saying awaken their inner artist. Yeah? And so in a way, I am standing for incorporating artistic touches in our core competencies. Now, you're going to tell me, is that even possible? And even before, whether it's possible or not, isn't it totally out there, you know, on a cloud? People will just laugh out loud when we do that. Well, I say no. And why I say no? Because lots of serious people in some consultancies, right, really smart people, have seen this happening. And particularly Boston Consulting Group, right, back in 2020, they wrote this fantastic piece about thinking biologically, and those were lessons from COVID, and they invited business leaders who read their papers, right, to think in multi-level systems for highly interconnected problems, to operate on multiple timescales simultaneously, to compete on imagination, contact with the unknown, focus on anomalies, counterfactual as well as factual skills, and cognitive diversity. This is not me making it up. You're most welcome to take a screenshot of the slide, go Google it, and you will find that article, and you will find all these words, right? And eventually shape Collaborative Solutions, BCG, Boston Consulting Group 2020. So no, what I'm proposing is not out there. It's fit, I believe, for the here and now. Of course, we're going to try it out, right? Do we have a chance to succeed? Is this possible? Yes. Why? Because Picasso said that every child is an artist. Now, of course, the problem is how to remain an artist once he grows up. That's the challenge we have, right? And we're going to do that. How will we know if we are successful? Well, art is not what you see, but what you make others see, said French painter Edgar Degas, right? And so we'll check with my guest for the coaching demo that we're going to start now, how this unfolds for her. So that's why I am super happy to welcome an extraordinary person, Miss Isabelle Larcher. And Isabelle, please feel free to come online, right? Isabelle is the managing director and co-founder of the global consulting group Timeo Performance, specialized in recruitment and executive search, training, management, and HR performance. Isabelle is a human performance expert with close to 30 years of experience, including more than 15 years of global executive search and more than 15 years of business management consulting with Accenture. Isabelle has built a strong and sustainable leadership teams for her client. Isabelle is a corporate athlete, in addition to being a wonderful person. Isabelle started her day today at 7 a.m., but she's in Singapore, where it's now 10:20 p.m. Isabelle has been working nonstop, 15 hours. Isabelle, you are forever a superhero in my book. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation to do a demo today. How are you doing?
Thank you, Jean-Francois. Thanks. Thank you for the warm welcome. Thank you, everyone. I'm very happy to be here. So yeah, it's been a very long day, but I'm sure after that discussion and session, I'm ready to embark into a new one without even a break.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Isabelle, can I invite you to take a couple of deep breaths?
Yes.
And then perhaps after that, let me know what comes to your mind, your heart, your guts, your whole being about what could be very valuable for us to explore today.
Ooh, all right. I believe I would like to explore a space where I need a bit more clarity. I'm not expecting to, have everything sorted out, but at least some clarity. Let's put it this way: with my organization, we're in a stage where we, after COVID years, where we obviously suffered a lot as an organization, and then 2 good years, like most of our clients, after COVID years, we rebuild, we grow. And last year was a bit more flat. And this year we feel like we have to come back to a growth mindset, right? So if you don't grow, you might die. We don't want that. And I'm a bit confused about how to start again that process. Not that I'm tired or exhausted. I always have some bundle of energy somewhere, but I have a lot of ideas. I have a lot of exciting projects in mind, but it might be a bit too much. And I'm a bit of a fire, so I can start a new project, but then I would stop at 80% and start another one. And then once I see through, then I want to start another one. So this is pretty much what I am. So I think what I would like to explore with you is how I can go through this exciting new, sort of a new beginning or new journey without being lost in too much projects that I'm excited about. So, it's a good problem to have, but it's still a bit, it's not my best night's sleep ever.
Yeah, okay. So interesting, Isabelle. So you were mentioning about you start fire and maybe you move to another one. Your body language was like this, right? There were bursts of energies and then you retreat and then another one, forward movement and then back. And what needs to happen for the backward movement to stop?
I will need to keep the momentum of what started me on the project. It feels like there is a momentum, the ideas, and I see clear, and I have really a strong desire to achieve this project, but somehow I lose the fun of it, probably, or I'm not too sure. It's when it becomes something with a process, with a, you know, it becomes a little bit of a routine, or maybe I need to go through things that I appreciate less than the one I started with. Maybe I should start with something I like less, so I keep the energy. I don't know.
And that's your left brain speaking to me. Isabelle, can I invite also perhaps your heart, or perhaps even more your guts, right, to answer the question?
If I go into the guts, then I have to open up a little bit more into something more personal, I guess. But I think all those projects bumped into also a stage of my life where it's a huge transition in my life. So there is probably a dichotomy between putting myself into a project mode, which has a long-term view, and being in a space where I have no idea what's going to happen to me in a month or two. So probably the two collapse. And you don't want to be my roommate right now at night. Frankly, it's a nightmare of expressions.
And so you mentioned twice space in the first sentence and just now, right? And you look up, as I mentioned that, what do you see?
I see space. That's the thing. I see an open sky. I see no limits. I see no boundaries. I see it's both a bit exciting again because it seems new. It seems no boundaries. Great to start something with no boundaries, right? You can express completely yourself, but at the same time, where do I stop? Where is the framework? It's really, maybe I'm looking up at really the proper real space, like something truly that looks like space, where I can lose gravity, where I can, oh my, I feel I can be even disconnected from gravity, right?
Ooh. Beautiful. Whoa, whoa. And so you were kind of poetic earlier on. You say, I see this and I see that and I see that. And
yes.
Can I invite you to just carry on the poem, beautifully and see where it takes you in that no gravity space?
Well, I think it starts with a lot of colors before the space. The space is a bit blue, dark blue, huh? So it can be blue, which I like, but it can be more towards the black, which I don't want to go too much. So, but before that, if I let go of the rational side, I think it would be super colorful. A lot of different waves of colors, like yellow, red, super bright colors, really yellow and red and greens, but more yellow and red. But maybe a fire, maybe something. I don't know if it's a good fire or not, but yeah, a lot of colors in waves that I could ride. I love riding waves. That's one of what I do to recharge, is on the water. So maybe, yeah, waves of colors, lots of colors. That's what I see.
Like you just learned something. I'm curious if that's correct. What have you learned?
That it relates to something first that I enjoy, and that I can explore with being less probably mindful of where it goes or where it brings me, or maybe I could start with just letting go of what I feel when I'm riding those color waves, and just see, I don't know, it's maybe it's not confusion, maybe it's I'm just riding new waves. I don't know if it's
so maybe
okay, let me come back to the colors, because I think there is something here that I can, a process I've been through. For strange reason, I've started a couple of weeks ago to go all white all white everywhere. So my clothes have to be white. My background in the office is, this one is the most colorful one I got recently. Usually white as going back to something I need to, I don't know, sorry, I need to paint again. I'm not a, you know, I'm not a good drawer, but I love the color. So maybe something I need to paint. But I started all white. Frankly, this is something I just realized. I started with a new notebooks, new white cloth, new white backgrounds, white phone. I mean, it's like I need to start from fresh, really from fresh in terms of colors. And I can't be, I need a new blank piece of paper. Yeah, I think. I can't start with where I've been so far. I think it's that strong.
And may I share a feeling I have when
Please,
you say,
yes.
I need to start with a white piece of paper. I felt very strong emotions in me. I have no clue what they are about. Do you feel the same or not?
Yes, well, the transition is quite emotional. May I share, or it's just you and I? Okay. You know, a lot of people are going through this transition. It's nothing crazy. It's just I have one only son, and he's going to uni in a month from now. So he will be in Europe, and I will be here in Asia, and it's very far, obviously. And I mean, we've had close bond as a very small family of 3, and I have absolutely no idea how is this going to work, what's going to happen, what's the new journey, even in terms of purpose. The whole thing is just blank. I have no idea.
Thanks for sharing, Isabelle. And then if we look at that white sheet of paper, what do you want to do with it?
It's funny. I just see it now. Just now. Just this one question. I would draw a space where I can see my son, you know, starting his new life. I have to let go. He has his whole new life, and I will paint it with so many great things, discovery, so many fun things, so many things he's gonna learn. And I would draw my own space, a lot of colors back. Again, there is a lot of colors back. My yellow, my reds, my blue, my light blues that I like. Just a little bit of a connection, but not too close. So, but his side would be black and white. I have no idea how I can paint that. It would be black and white. It would be like a sketch, like something in progress before you fill in with the colors. Mine would be no sketch, no forms, but only a lot of colors. And I can see it very clearly. And I think, again, I'm not a good drawer, but after this session, I think I'm going to draw this. I'm going to draw this this thing I have in mind.
So I'm feeling very strong energy coming from you,
yes,
Isabelle. Yeah, and very kind of linear forward movement. Now that's only my perception. What do you make of it?
I need to make something of it, yes, because it's too much confusion right now. It's too much emotion, and it's again, it's not just negative emotions. It's a lot of positive emotions that when I see this picture, when I want to draw, it's a lot of positive emotions where, again, I see smiles everywhere. It's a whole different world that we're gonna rebuild. So I think if I want to make something out of it, I need to figure out what's in it for him, what's in it for me, what's in it for the next step. Because for now, I'm only thinking of what I'm going to lose, but I'm not ready to see what I'm going to get out of it. As in, you know, it's also a new organization, new way of doing things. I'm going to have a different relationship. I'm going to have a freedom also, right? No more homeworks, right?
Mm, mm.
No more grades to look at, and no more. So plenty of opportunities too. And I think I need to represent like a bucket list, or like how it's going to look like, which is also things I want to achieve, things I want to do after this transition. I need to get out of this transition. That's the thing. I need to get out. I can't. Sorry, I'm getting excited, and I'm gonna lose my mic. But yeah, I need to get out of this transition. It's not a space that I am.
And so I also say every journey starts with one step. Which first step are you going to take, Isabelle?
I mentioned bucket list, maybe after the drawing, where I can have some clarity of where I see my son, where I see myself, my husband, and the rest of the environment. I'm going to draw a bucket list, I think, of things that I want to do once this transition is done. Once my son is in Europe, when I'm here, I have some traveling I want to do. I want to go back to singing lessons. I have plenty of things in my mind. Sorry, we're not talking about my organization anymore. I feel like the starting point is a bit.
And Isabelle, we lack time to go into the action planning as we usually do,
of course.
but your energy is there. You have a very high sense of accountability, Isabelle, and I'm so absolutely, totally, completely sure that you will walk the talk and do the drawing and the bucket list and move forward. And I will be at your disposal if you want to catch up later on, Isabelle, of course, to take this further. Of course, today we have only a short session, right?
Yes.
But I want to thank you for giving it your all and inspiring all of us with your energy and your and all you offered. I'm sure, and you see all the hearts and the yellow and the red, the many red hearts, and you like red, right? Showing on the right side of the screen. That is for you. Thank you, everyone, for being with Isabelle and me. Thank you very much, Isabelle. Please stay with us. We'll come back to you a little later in the moment. I would love to offer a few concrete tips and insights about incorporating artistic touches in our coaching as a critical necessity nowadays. And I'm going to display them in 3 slides, so you can take screenshots if you see some things you like. So one slide is for junior coaches, one slide is for advanced coaches, and one slide is for master coaches. Let's start with junior coaches. So things that we can all benefit from doing and that are not difficult. And they are about the doing on the left side and about the being on the left side, and they are about the doing on the right side. And for the being, as you observed, I calm myself a lot when we started with Isabelle. Be still, calm inside, right? Still lake, and also become a free mind, free of bias, just filled with complete curiosity. Be grateful for all the client offers. It's all a gift. Discover the work of a variety of artists, and that is for the sake of really expanding your sensitivity, nourishing your imagination. Right, and then meet disruptors, meet those kind of crazy people who are the only one who change the world, like Steve Jobs said, and there are plenty just down your alley. Meet them. We may not understand them, but just trying to get a bit about their craziness, perhaps, can be so inspiring. Yeah, so that's for the being. For the doing, of course, artistry builds on competency and mastery, right? So we all are very serious about solidifying our competencies. And then tactically, we can invite clients to try out different perspectives. That's so easy, right? Ask the client to storytell, like I invited Isabelle to go on the kind of the poem or poetic tone she had used when she said, I see, and I see, and I see, right? So it was like a storytelling, right? Taking the story further. Invite visual clients to draw and tune up your sensitivity. to clients' emotions and energy, like I demonstrated with Isabel. Nah? Okay, so time to take a screenshot if you'd like to remember anything from there, right? And then we're going to move to the same slide for advanced coaches with the being and the doing, and we'll raise the bar a bit. And I like to quote Salvador Dali, right? Intelligence without ambition is a bird without wings. So let's check for advanced coaches some suggestions about your being. And the first will be to fully embody your core competencies. Be the competencies, right? And then with permission, ask to the client, be bold. Sometimes it will not work, but you can laugh about it, nobody dies, yeah? Be a calculated risk taker. That's not about just boldness. That's taking risk in the conversation, right? To explore new territory that may be uncomfortable. And then when discomfort may happen for the client, be comfortable with it. It's okay to be uncomfortable. That's where growth happens, right? On the doing side for advanced coaches, I'd love to recommend that you simply raise your ambition for what's great, right? And if your client has just said something amazing, then inquire about something even more amazing, right? Explore your client's discomfort zone, right? We serve to enhance clients' comfort and happy success in life, right? So discomfort we want to explore, right? Involve the three brains, so the mind and the heart and the guts, and stimulate them, make them work hard on the client side, of course, right? And then unleash your own intuition and creativity in the not knowing space when you are blessed to enter it with your clients, right? And ensure you unleash the intuition and the creativity of your clients as well, right? And then explore clients' metaphors, of course. Yeah, because then they are in another world that may be rich with possibilities. And also invite clients to simplify. So not only they get to the gist of what's really important in what they say, but also they memorize it. Yeah. So those are touches that can really help. And I invite you to take a screenshot if you'd like to, so you can memorize anything you like there. Yeah, and then we're going to raise the bar further for the master coaches, and with an introduction compliment from Lady Gaga, who is not only an amazing artist, but also a very profound person. And here she goes, and she has to say,
really encourage people to look into the darkness and look into places that you would not normally look to find uniqueness and specialness, because that's where the diamonds are hiding.
Beautiful, thank you, Lady Gaga. And then when we come to the master coaches, right? Those insights and tips to awaken clients' inner artists, generate great new ways of thinking of being. What I got in the basket today is bring up your inner child's insatiable and unbridled curiosity. Yeah, probably you saw me just do that, right? Just be that, right? That child. Remember, Picasso said, we are all artists when we are children, right? Nothing's wrong with that. Everything's fantastic with that, right? Be playful. You can even play as a fool with permission, right? If the relationship with the client is not yet very strong enough. And then be an unconventional challenger, right? Like play the one who doesn't understand, for instance, and embody inspiration. And by this, I mean exude your belief that there are endless possibilities to explore when we design the future. Yeah. And on the doing side, I'd love to say use clients' light and shadows and as creative resources. So shadows are what the client doesn't see, that it's behind them, or doesn't want the world to see about them. So go there safely with them. Those shadows can be fantastic resources, as Lady Gaga just said, yeah? And then vary the rhythm, right? Sometimes go for fast quantitative thinking, then you can slow down to qualitative thinking. The variation in rhythm can be very productive, yeah? Another one is mix brush strokes. And by this, I mean sometimes asking very broad questions, sometimes very granular session. It's like zoom in, zoom out, right? Different perspectives, different zooms, right? Inquire about the essence of what the client truly, deeply, wholly desires, right? So coach at the deepest level, right? And challenge the clients to set themselves free from cultural or societal influences. And by this, I mean that give a chance, enable clients to free themselves from what the society or people expect from them, so that they can decide and design first who they can be when they are free, right? And experience the unknown as a great limitless space to create a greater future for themselves. With this, I invite you to take a screenshot if there is anything there that you wish to remember and perhaps share with others, yeah? And then I'll move and wrap up. So we have time for our precious experience sharing Q&A. And I'll move with this quote from Fedorowski. Beauty will save the world. I believe coaching artistically can ignite the leadership artistry needed to save the world. And I wish that together we can establish step-by-step coaching as an artistic discipline. With this, my friends, it's the best time coming up. Your insights, your great practices, please generously offer them in the Q&A box, and your questions as well. And I'm going to go to Dominic here, thanking you all again and thanking amazing Isabel, right? Going to Dominic to use our last 5 minutes together to have a conversation.
Isabel, Jean-Francois, thank you so much for this artist approach to coaching. To our members, just an invite to fill in a quick poll that we will be launching on the screen while we do this short Q&A part. So Lynn, if I can kindly ask you to launch the poll for our members, just so they can rate today's session. And since we only got a couple of minutes, let's immediately jump into questions. And wow, there were so many of them, so excellent questions, but let's pick one. So Joe is asking a question for you, Jean-Francois. So Isabel is clearly very predisposed to be comfortable with this coaching approach. We saw how her energy immediately arose when you jumped into the visual artistry and colors and all of that. So she's definitely very intuitive and perceptive. How do you deal with clients who are more of a technician clients, objective, judgmental, rational, more left brain leaning, who might have a discomfort with such an approach? What would you do in that case?
Yeah, thanks very much, Joe, for a very important question, right? Some clients will not jump in so joyfully into explorations as Isabel did. And then it's our duty, if we have several sessions with those clients who are, as you described, Joe, to go step by step, right? To make it safe and then fun and then inspiring to have conversations with them and to open the possibility for them that there may be value in letting go of some of their carcan, you know, or their armor of preconceived ideas about right and wrong and black and white, right? So it's a process, go there slowly, but they have a child inside of them, and that child is creative, and that child is suffering from the toughness of their world, of our world, and we need to wake up the creative child in them so they can be better. It happens, Joe, it just takes time, and we don't want to brusque them into it, right? We want to entice them step by step. Thank you.
Love this. We got time for one more question. It is geared towards you, Jean-Francois, but Isabelle, I would love for you to also share how your experience with the following. So the question is from John. John has noticed that your facial expressions and other body language are quite expressive. What can you tell us about this? Is this something that comes naturally to you? Is this something you deliberately choose? And if so, why? So that's the question for you, Jean-Francois. And then Isabelle, how does it make you feel as a client with this approach?
Isabelle, can you take the
Yes,
question first, please?
Yeah, I love this question. I'll be very short, but I love this question. Thank you. It feels like Jean-Francois is embarking me to a dance. So he's not mimicking. I don't feel he's mimicking either my energy or my facial expressions, or he plays with it when it's powerful or when it brings me somewhere. Either I don't want to go or I need to dig further. So sometimes he stops and the expression is a bit more neutral. And I realize that, oh, okay, I got excited here. Okay, let's come back. I think Jean-Francois has asked an important question. Let's reflect on this one. But sometimes he helps me by going into this along, really with the same again. Yeah, some people are more receptive, of course, about, body language. Obviously, I am, but it's not the whole thing about me either. And sometimes I can feel like, okay, something is happening here. There is a disruption. So I believe it's not 100% always at my level of energy or where I want to go. It just plays with it and dance with me, I think. That's how I feel.
Thanks a lot, Isabelle. And my answer to the question that we get every year, perhaps, Dominique, you've heard the question before, and I'm grateful for it, right? Because it matters, right? There is, I advocate that we are ourselves, authentic, vulnerable, just ourselves, right? And I have no intention of limiting myself. I just bring who I am, perhaps ugly at times, ridiculous at others, but I give my whole self to the dance. And my honesty in the intention for the session is so complete that I have little doubt that anyone would ever find any wish on my side to influence the client. I just give myself all the crappy of it and the perhaps couple of good sides, right? But I expect the clients to do the same. So we have a great conversation between people who are fully themselves. I recommend that. Okay, thanks very much for the question. Very important to handle it. Yeah.
Thank you both for sharing, and thanks everybody for being on this special webinar today.